guys, and welcome to another episode of How Effing Lovely It Is to Be a Woman. I'm your host, Melissa Roman, and welcome to the podcast. So today's episode is inspired by a post that was made a couple days ago on Facebook by my lovely roommate, Kayleen. Kayleen, would you like to say hi to the audience?
Hi to the audience.
Alright. So a couple days ago, Kayleen wrote a post regarding women writers and what exactly most women writers write about. And what she found interesting is that a lot of women writers in the past and even now write about only themes regarding love. Which I thought was interesting because when I thought about books that I have read by women writers, I agree with what she has said. So then I asked myself, why is it that most women writers only write about love? Do they feel like they only have love to write about? Or do they feel like readers will only read stories about love that are by women writers? So what Kayleen found interesting, and she's reading a lot of books right now in one of her British literature classes where a lot of women writers have written stories about multiple themes, she's finding that many of the stories, even though they are about themes like social justice and growing up and independence, there's always something that comes into the plot line that is about love. Or the entire story is just about love. If women writers are looked at by society as the preachers of love through literature, and that's the only thing that they can preach about well. I mean, if there is an issue of social justice or something like that, there always has to be an aspect of love in order to make the story interesting. Why can't the story not include love and not be about love in any way, shape, or form? Will it still be interesting? Will people still think it will be interesting? I think that women readers would still find it interesting. For men, maybe. I mean, it depends. I'm not a guy, but the real question is, why have women always written about love? Why can't they write about something else? I mean, they can, but would it sell as well? Has that dampened women's confidence to write about something else? The topic of love is one of those subjects that can hook anybody, even if you're not in the mood to enjoy a story or read a story that is about love. If you hear a story about love, you're automatically hooked. That is the human condition. We are intrigued by love. We are interested by one falling for another. It's very interesting to us. So love is a great selling point for both media, literature, entertainment, all of that stuff. But that doesn't excuse the fact that women should only be expected to write about love. I think that they should be expected to write about anything they want. In fact, I have read a couple of books by an author. She is a woman, Jhampa Lahiri. She has written many books about life in India, and none of those books have anything to do with love. Instead, they have a lot to do with independence, growing up in an impoverished country, finding your way through life without parents. It's very interesting what she writes, and it's interesting to me that her books are so interesting and yet they don't have love in them. But we never hear about her books as much as Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, Jane Eyre, all of those books that have to, in fact, deal with women who then deal with love, and these books were written by women. What I'm wondering is that if a woman wrote a book about social justice and only social justice, would it be read as much as a man who wrote a book about the same exact thing? Honestly, I don't think so. Why? It's because our society, especially today, gives credit to a lot of male authors and men who are higher placed in society for credibility and intelligence than women are. Nevertheless, I want you guys to think about what books that you have read in the past. have they been written by women, first off? And if they have, what were they about? What themes were they about? What topics did they cover? And if they did cover the topic of love, which I am not surprised that they would, why do you think that is? Thank you guys for listening to another episode of How Effing Lovely It Is to Be a Woman, and I'll see you next time.